You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Before we jump in, if acting is the thing that you just simply cannot stop thinking about, if you've been working so hard, showing up to auditions, but still not getting cast as often as you know you could, it's probably not because you're not good enough. It's because you are overthinking. I have seen so many talented, super talented, new and early career actors hold themselves back by living in the head instead of in the moment. And the truth is, it is fixable. And that's why I created the Method Actor Circle, an online membership for new and early career actors who are deadly serious about building real, grounded, castable performances. Inside the Method Actor Circle, you'll get monthly method acting classes, audition coaching, monologue ebooks, business of acting classes, and so much more. And right now, you can try it for a full month for £1 using the code MAC1. So if you're ready to stop overthinking and finally own the stage and set, this is your moment. Head over to the Method Actor Circle at bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle and use code MAC1 to get started. So that link again is bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle, or click underneath where you press play and let's get you cast. Ayelen, the first question I would love to ask you is, how did you even know you wanted to be an actress? So what clues were there? Were there any in your childhood? Did your parents or caregivers think she's going to be an actress when she grows up? How did you get started with it all?
When I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a singer. So I've been singing and participating in singing competitions for kids. And when I applied to high school, I applied to theater high school because the school system in Sweden is kind of not the same as in America. I think it's quite the same as in the UK though. But we choose a program and we get deeper knowledge, and it prepares us either for university or go straight into the work environment. But first time I acted was on the audition for this theater high school, and I got in. So I was I didn't expect that at all, but I guess performing, singing during my whole childhood kind of helped with the, stage presence. So yes.
That's so exciting. I feel like I've got some things in common with you already, because I used to sing a lot when I was little. But I never really knew that was going to lead me to acting either. What would you say then was would you say that audition for the stage school, doing the acting for the first time, would you say that was the pinnacle moment where you were like, oh, I've never done acting before, and actually, I feel like I really like this?
Yes, definitely. I felt like, wow, if I get into a theater high school, I must be doing something right. So maybe this is the path for me. So yes, definitely.
I guess I want to ask you then, when you first got started with acting after this audition, were there any nerves in you, any doubts? Did you hold yourself back, or did you jump straight into it? I say this because I remember when I was 14, prior to that, I absolutely hated drama, in the sense that it made me feel so embarrassed, so shy, unexposed, actually. I probably wouldn't have said that when I was a teenager, but now thinking back, I definitely felt exposed. So when I first started acting, I do actually remember that I would sit back in the classes for a while and I wouldn't jump in until I started to find my confidence and feel a little bit more safe. Did something similar like that happen for you, or were you the complete opposite and you just jumped right in?
Oh, I was the complete opposite. I've always wanted to go first because if I sit and wait, that gives me nerves. So, like the first day of school, when the teacher was like, "Oh, who wants to go first?" Me, absolutely me. I want to go first because then also, it's like the teacher haven't told anything yet about what we're doing. I'm just jumping right in, and I can't do anything wrong in that position. But also, I've practiced to like sit down and wait and see what the teacher doing with other people as well, of course. But I think I jumped head first. I wasn't thinking at all, and I think it's because I wasn't like self-aware at that point the way I am now, because I guess my frontal lobe grew. But yes.
That is such a good point that you make there. When we're younger, we definitely aren't self-aware, and we definitely do have less inhibitions. I mean, everybody's different. Obviously, I myself, as you've just heard,
Yeah.
would sit back until I felt more comfortable. But I love that you dove straight in, and that must have been so unbelievably exciting. So, what happened after this school then, this theatre school that you went to? What was the next step in your journey? Because what I want to come to a little bit later, which I think is going to be so exciting for our listeners, is that you have been cast in something that's on Amazon Prime, and I really want to inspire people to say that you can take all routes into acting and you can
Yeah.
still get paid professional work on big platforms such as Amazon Prime. But yeah, what was the very next step for you then after the theatre school?
I I actually I don't know if I have told you this, but after acting school, in I was in a relationship with a guy, and I kind of felt like maybe acting wasn't the right way for me. But I went to makeup artist school, so I did makeup for bridals, and I had my own studio. And then I was doing like some short movie amateur things that were pretty bad, but I was there. And um, then when I was doing makeup on an actor a few years back in 2018, I was like, wow. When I looked at her performing, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I feel so jealous. I want to be where she is. And I mean, me and her, we spoke about this, like acting, and she was like, I really believe in you. You should go into it like 100%. I believe in you. And I was like, okay, this cool girl is saying that she believes in me, so I probably should. And I applied to Vancouver Film School, but this was during or pre-pandemic. The pandemic happened, so I never went. Um, I applied instead for a school here in Sweden, a private school, and I went 2 years. And for me personally, since I feel like the theater high school was I gained so much from that. I didn't really feel like I learned new things during the 2 years in the private school. Um, it was great for like coming back onto the stage and working with other people. I I I mean, I did learn like physical acting, and we had a lot of voice technique and scenography. Um, but as for acting techniques, I did not feel like I learned so much. I felt like I became more aware about my body, and I was more in my head in the end of those 2 years.
That's so interesting. There's so much I want to pick up on there. Firstly, I love because what I'm picking up from you, and obviously I've coached you as well, but
Yeah.
and so I've seen this in the classes, but what I'm picking up from what I didn't know about you is that you throw yourself into everything. And I love that because that is such a good quality for an early career actor. Just this enthusiasm and drive and this eagerness to just do everything. I love that you did the makeup side of things as well, because it's still keeping your hand in the industry. And I also
Yeah.
love that you are so honest and said you were jealous of this other actress. I wish more
Yeah.
people would have that honesty. It's okay for us to be jealous as long as, we're using it to drive ourselves forwards, which you did.
Mm.
So, this self awareness, then, let's jump to jump to the school that you went to, the private school, this is something we obviously spoke about a lot in the classes through mental tension. And it's something
Mm.
that a lot of actors experience, whether they're consciously aware of it or not is another thing. And you said it was your body. So if you feel comfortable talking more to that, I'd love to hear more about this self-awareness and you being in your head and really how it affected your performances.
Yes. So what we also have been speaking about in the classes when you've coached me is that I've also have been mental health issues, which I think is very important to also put out there, because a lot of actors also have mental health issues, like from my experience, from people I've met. Of course, not everyone, but and I feel like this and being in acting school at the same time made me doubt myself in so many levels, because I was in my head with like, oh, I'm not feeling good, but I need to show up and be the best I can. And it was like, um, I don't really know how to explain it, but it was more like I could not celebrate the victories I did while in class. It was more like I continued to think about the things I did wrong, and um, I felt like I did not understand things as I should have. And I think that is the biggest thing for me. Um, that if I don't feel like I understand, that is kind of breaking me down a little bit, actually a lot, but building over time. Um, so, and I am also like on the plus size, and I've been struggling with my self image, with my body, also my whole life. And being in acting school, I was also the only plus size person, which also felt to me even more like, oh my God, I'm not like the norm in my own head, uh, how an actor should look like. This is not. I know this is something I need to work on, um, but I think that also made me realize that, oh, there's so much stuff with me that can give me a harder time to get parts. But at the same time, I felt like, you know what, my role is gonna come to me at some point. So I kept going, even though I felt like really bad a lot of the time.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share that, especially on a platform which is listened to globally. I really appreciate
Mm.
that. And I
You're welcome.
think a lot of our listeners are really going to appreciate that as well, because the acting industry is something that provokes our insecurities.
Mm.
Because, of course, we recognize and are aware that we're not guaranteed work. So, that in and of itself can spike those insecurities.
Yeah.
And then when you've got these other internal challenges going on, it can really heighten them. And I don't feel like this is spoken about enough. I can absolutely relate to what you've said. I might be, we've all got different body shapes and sizes, but I too have had so many images, not images, sorry, so many challenges with my own image as well. And that's
Yeah.
really held me back and really heightened these I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving of a place in the industry thought processes, which I know are unhealthy. And I have managed to like really work through these, but I just think it's so good that you've shared that. But what I also love is that you've not allowed these to bog you down. You've accepted that they're there, you need to work through them, but you've had this insane belief inside of you that my role is going to come no matter what. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about working with you. And I know that is the key to being a successful actor. It's so interesting because yesterday afternoon I recorded a podcast on the A-list actor mindset. And that was one of
Hmm.
the things that I said is those who work on the big screen, who are constantly working, they just know that success is inevitable. They don't necessarily know how it's going to manifest, but they know it's inevitable. And I love that you've got that mindset as well. And I think it's important to iterate here that we can have two opposing things running side by side. We can have the insecurities and we can have the challenges internally, and we can also
Yes.
bloody well believe in ourselves as well. So I really love that, and I hope lots of people find that really inspiring. I know I've just found that super inspiring.
Thank
So
you.
let's move on then. So what happened after the private school? Where did you go to next? What was the next stage in your acting career?
Yes. So after acting school, this was summer 2023, I was working on like a kids theater in the forest, kind of. It's like they're walking around and there's this story in the forest, and I was playing a witch, and I was playing the tooth fairy, and I was playing a tooth fairy troll, I think it's called. And this was in a small village with like 10 houses, so there was nothing to do when you were not working. And I was taking a walk one day and I was like, maybe there is an actors podcast. And I found your podcast and I listened to one episode and I was like, God, this is amazing. This is kind of what I have been looking for, because I feel like, as I said earlier, I didn't really know any exercises or methods for acting. And I went into your Facebook group. I went to one of your private classes. I jumped into method acting circle, and then I jumped straight into a 10-week boot camp. And I also did like apply for short films all the time. I was working half time. I was still struggling with my mental health, but I got through it, and I got through it again after that. So, yeah.
Didn't even know about this like outdoor acting that you were doing. I was just so there in my imagination with you, like, wow, that sounds so exciting. All of these little jobs that we do as actors are really taking us on a journey and taking us
Yeah.
to where we need to be, even if at the time, like you said, there was nothing to do outside
Mm,
of the show, even if it feels very boring, like it's all there for a reason. Everything we do is there for a reason. And I love that you are still so proactive, like, well, there's nothing to do. Let's see if I can find a podcast.
yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you found Unstoppable Actors, because I've absolutely loved coaching you. And yes, you did jump in. So let's talk about the Method Actor Circle then. So you jumped into that. Now, a lot of
Hmm.
people think online training is not going to be as good as in person, and they both have their pros and cons. We have to be honest about that.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've noticed the majority of my successful acting students, and I'm defining success in this context as people who have gone on to do commercially successful productions, they're the ones who have done the online training over the in person. And
Hmm.
I've asked myself, like, what is that? What is it about the online training? And I've got my idea on what it is, but I'm not going to share that just now. I'll leave it till after. But can you share with our listeners what it was like training online and whether you recommend online training or not?
First of all, I really recommend online training because I live in Sweden. I used to live in Stockholm, so I could have gone to in-person acting classes. But as for now, I live in northern Sweden, so there's no way to go to an acting studio here. They don't exist. Um, so yeah, when I lived in Stockholm, I still chose online acting because for me it was very convenient. I didn't have to spend time to make it to class. I could just open my computer and it would be right there. And um, I felt like going to going to a class with just people that is around you, like in the same era, then you won't meet people with as much different backgrounds and different beliefs. And um, I feel like working with also a coach that is not in Sweden would give me more. How do I say? When I was in class one time in this acting school, they said to us that like Stanislavski's way of doing acting when he was um, something was missed when they converted the text. And I felt like that really stuck with me. Like, if I learn acting from someone who is English speaking, I would probably gain more than just, I don't know. Also, I've never liked Swedish acting. I don't know if you've ever seen anything in Swedish, but I've just felt like there is something missing, and I couldn't put my finger on what it is. And I'm sorry if there's Swedish listeners. I love like American acting. I don't know, but yeah, that's my opinion. Um,
Is. I guess I forgot what I've asked as well. We both got ADHD, so
yeah,
I asked, would you recommend online acting training? You said yes.
yeah.
Can I just jump in as well and say I really love that you. It sounds like you're really nourishing your artistic side by saying, actually, I could have gone to in-person acting classes, and I recognise there's something that's not quite translated from the Stanislavski system
Mm-hmm.
in how it's been taught in Sweden in the experiences you've had.
Mm,
So I want to broaden my horizons. And yeah, it just sounds like you're really nourishing your creativity, your imagination by
yeah.
connecting with people. And you know what? I never even, because I've got my theory on why my students from the online classes are more successful, but I never really considered that actually it's so good for you meeting people from all around the world with those different backgrounds. So thank you for bringing that to
Mm,
my attention.
yeah.
I guess I want to ask you, like, the second part of the question then is, so with the online training, how did it benefit you? Was it different to in-person training? Was it better in some respects, or was there some other experience? Like, how has it specifically benefited you, other than the fact that it's convenient because you don't have to travel anywhere? I mean, when we're thinking about the craft and doing it
Mm,
online, because essentially you were doing this in a bedroom or a living room. So how
yeah.
did that benefit you?
I think it benefited me because um, in your classes, it's more um, structure, I would say, for me. And as you mentioned, we both like have ADHD, so I need to learn things a different way, um, as I'm sure more people do than just people like us. But I felt like you were teaching me in a way that I could understand, and you have this actor's journal that we follow, and we do the homework. And the difference that I've experienced here in Sweden is that we get up on our feet and just improvise, and we feel things with our body, and then we take scripts and just read them, and read them with emotion, kind of. And then teachers ask us some questions about the script, and that's the end of the class. It's not like, oh, today we're going to learn the animal exercise, and we're going to work on this for a few weeks, so you actually know what you're doing. Um, and again, I don't have, this is just my own experience. I'm sure that there are people in Sweden that work this way, like you are, but I just haven't found them. And yeah, so I really want to point that out. And I mean, we also do have really good actors in Sweden. I mean, we have Alicia Vikander. She did her training in the UK. So that's why I also went that way. But yeah.
So glad that the structures really helped you, and you're not the first person to say that. There are other actors who have come to me, who've been to other acting classes before, and they're like, gosh, the structure, I've never been to such a structured class
Yeah.
before. But the structure doesn't mean rigidity. It doesn't mean we're
No.
stuck and there's no room for growth. In fact, it means there's such room for growth. So my own take on it is that, as an acting coach with that hat on and not an actress, when we're working online, we have to, because we've got challenges that you're in a living room or you're in a bedroom and the space is a little bit smaller, you have to be very, very disciplined. And you really have to get yourself into your creative imagination and not
Yeah.
your misaligned imagination. And the misaligned one is those thoughts we've spoken about earlier of, oh gosh, I don't like the way my body looks as I'm playing this role, or I don't feel good enough. Am I worthy of being here? All those mind monkeys. Like, we have to move away from those in a way that sometimes they're much bigger in person because we're taking for granted that we've got people right next to us. And so the discipline is something else, and that's what casting directors love, and it's what directors love. They love that discipline. So can you speak to your experience inside the Method Actors Circle then? Because that was the first thing you joined of Standbys. Like, how was that? And yeah, I don't know, just share your experience of it.
Yeah. So I was in Method Acting Circle, I think, for 2 months before I proceeded to the 10-week bootcamp. And what I remember is that the first class we learned the step-up method, and we did that because someone had big emotions, and I thought it was quite beautiful to see that even though we are online and we can't really uh, give comfort with like a hug or something, we can still support each other and help each other, like lift each other up. And I and yes, then someone else said that they were going to jump into the boot camp, and they were in my method acting methods circle, and I saw how quickly you could help someone with their because you had audition sessions where you help us with auditions that were upcoming, or just some text that we want to do for our self-tape. And I saw how quickly you could help other actors connect to their characters with just like one exercise within freaking 5 minutes. So I really like that it is on hands, like seeing how people really get helped by the exercises. It was really eye-opening to me. And it was also nice that we got the scripts beforehand, so we could work with them on ourselves before coming to class if it was that type of session.
Blows my mind as well that because inside the Method Actor Circle we have two classes. Well, it's building up more now. There's lots of different things in there, but the foundations of it are we have a character development class and an audition technique class. And the audition technique class, you're bringing your auditions that you've got for upcoming self-tapes or in person, and I'm coaching you through them so that you do a really good audition. And it blows my mind as well that I only have to give one or two exercises and then the piece is completely transformed. And I like never take this for granted. I always look at the actors and I'm so inspired because you're all so open-minded to the exercises. And I'm like, wow, you were doing okay at first and it was all right. And it was natural. It was okay, but it was never going to land with a casting director. You would have got overlooked. And then we do one or two exercises and then it's like, wow, this is a completely different actor. And a completely different piece, and it's so genuine and it's so real and authentic, and it blows my mind as well. This is why I love method acting. It's just incredible. So as you were training with Standby then, something really exciting happened. Oh, in fact, no, I feel like you did the Method Actor Circle, then you came and did a 10-week module, then you had a little break, and in that time something really exciting happened, and then you came back and did another 10-week module. So tell everyone, what was the exciting thing that happened?
Well, I got casted. Honestly, I don't like really remember because so much have happened since I started in 2023. But I got casted in like this scary movie as Lucia. I don't know if everyone who's listening knows what it is. But it's like this this thing that happens in December to honor Saint Lucia. Yeah. Anyways, Google it. But I got casted in that, and that movie made it to the theaters in Sweden, and it's now also on a Swedish streaming site. And then, well, the other thing that happened was that I was casted in a short film, and this short film is on Amazon Prime now, which I never thought in my head, like ever. I thought that Amazon Prime, like being on a site like that, would be in like that would happen in like 10 years, not like half half a year, 6 months after doing like method acting. But yes, and I've also been casted and I've shooted for a television show that is going to air here in Sweden this fall, which is quite big. This is the biggest thing I've ever done. And I worked with one of Sweden's greatest female directors, and I actually saw the main character getting handed. We were like shooting a scene, and she got the news that she won a prize for best female acting in a film in Finland. So I was really working with like the top. Like I was there with the people I thought was so far away, but it came quite quickly to me just because I knew the exercises I've been taught.
I've got the smile on my face right now because I'm so excited for you. Because it's just one thing is happening after another.
Yeah.
And I know it's because you have had this unwavering belief that my role is coming. I don't know how, I don't know when. And like you've just said, you thought it might be in 10 years' time, but actually
Yeah.
it's been not very long after taking your method acting training. So you've had the belief in yourself, despite all the challenges going on internally.
Yeah.
And you have really worked your arse off with the craft. Like you worked so hard in the classes, and the character preparation that you did between the classes was just next level.
Thank you.
And you were always so enthusiastic and wanted to learn more and was soaking everything up and would throw yourself into every single exercise. And it was so exciting to coach you that I am not surprised that all of these things are happening now and you're building momentum. And how exciting to see another actress receiving news that she's won an award or a prize, as you said. That must have been so inspiring. So did you use the method acting exercises that you learn within the programs here at Standby for the TV show and for the other things the other projects that you mentioned, the one on Amazon and then the horror?
I absolutely did. When when I did the audition, because my first 10-week boot camp was auditions, and I did everything I've learned in class. I have, I think, three notes. What is it called? Notebooks. I have three notebooks who are filled with notes from the classes, and I've kept a copy of the acting journal, like for written hand, so I can go through all of those things when I'm preparing for my character. So I'm definitely doing everything, and also I'm visualizing, like before we start recording, I'm visualizing like where am I, what surrounds me, and what do I want, and I'm like even like I've even learned how to learn the lines in another way that is so much more deep. It connects with me so deep.
I love that you're using the exercises on these productions and for your auditions. Like that for me is like, Louise, you've done your job. That's all I want, because I know how exciting it is the minute you get out of your head, and as an actor you've got a toolkit and you're like, right, here I know I'm struggling with this problem, so I'm going to use this exercise. Or oh, I know I'm not connecting maybe with the emotions, so I'm going to do personalization. Just having that toolkit and going, what do I need to use today? Because it's going to be a different exercise for each audition or each production, depending what the challenge is. But just having that toolkit is so exciting as an actor, because then you feel more confident, you feel more professional, you feel like you know exactly what you're doing, and you know you have earned your right to be either in that audition or in that production. But not even just that, it's just exciting because it sparks your imagination. And then it does that thing that it did to us as children when we used to play, where we lose ourselves in the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's so real. And the only difference from being children to now is that now we've got technique and it's a bit sharper, but it's still just as exciting as being a child when you lose your imagination. So I am thrilled to pieces that you are using these exercises because I use them on all my productions as well because I know they get
Yeah.
me out of sticky situations. I can remember the last film that I did getting so inside my head thinking, oh my God, I've got this big scene that's got such a big emotional journey on it. How am I ever going to connect to this? And then I was like, girl, you're just going to use Tell Me Who You Are. And I sat
Yeah.
there in the scene whilst everyone was setting up the scene around me and it was chaotic. And I just focused and did the Tell Me Who You Are exercise in my head. And then I'm there. And do you work in a similar way to me? So if you were struggling with something before a scene is shot, would you get yourself, and do the exercise internally without anyone knowing?
Yes, I definitely did that when I was shooting the TV series because I was quite nervous. And I remember I was doing the personalization, and I was also doing uh gosh, which one? Like what surrounds me, or like what have I, yeah, the given circumstances. I went through the given circumstances also in my head. Um, but yeah, I was thinking like, what's my relationship with the person that is standing in front of me? And yeah, the personalization really helped in that scene.
That is such a powerful exercise. I love it so much. And of course,
Yeah.
then that gets you away from the nerves because now you're fully putting yourself in that character's shoes and you fully understand, not just on a logical level, but on a heart level, what it is to be them in these set of circumstances. Ah, I'm so proud of you, Ayelen. So excited.
Thank you.
um, so I've just got a couple more things I want to ask you then. And if you would recommend the Method Actor Circle, because we're currently running what I think is an incredible offer where actors get to try out a full month in there and get all access to everything in there for £1, like literally a pound, which is crazy. Would you recommend that actors give that £1 for 1 month trial a go?
100%. I feel like if people want to act and maybe not feel like they have the capacity to go into a 10-week boot camp and doing like a full-time job or something like that, then definitely I do recommend the 10-week boot camp like a million times over. um, but the acting circle is amazing, and it's because you meet like twice a month, and um, I mean, you put as much as little time to prep before, and you don't even need to be there. You can just go back and watch what happened last class, and you can take notes for yourself. But I think it's incredible, and £1 is like nothing. It's what, uh, a coffee? No, not a coffee, like a gum. So join the circle and skip buying gum, I guess.
Love that. Can I use that as the motto?
Yes, you can.
And thank you so much, by the way, for recommending it. So if you do want to join, literally it's £1, and then if you want to stay, it's £35 a month after that, which is still insane value. And I
Yes.
love that you've said like you get the live classes, but then you can go back and watch the classes because everyone is recorded and uploaded. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of our students who don't actually feel that confident in attending a class live, they ease their way in by watching the recordings and following along and taking the notes to get them more comfortable. So I love that side of it as well. So, two more questions then. Number one is,
Yeah.
what has method acting done for you as an actress then? And you can interpret that however you want. And then the final question is, what makes you feel unstoppable?
Yes. So, what method acting has done for me is given me a whole lot of confidence in that I am capable. As you always said, like everyone is capable of getting an acting career. And that is so true. I mean, people can listen to your podcast and be like, yeah, yeah, whatever. She doesn't know anything about me. But really, yeah, no. Louise know what she's doing. Like you know what you're doing. And yeah, it have given me so much confidence, and I can always rely on the exercises I've learned. And what makes me feel unstoppable is this knowledge and like being able to get that deep connection to real emotional truth because I have gained the knowledge and the skills how to do it. But also accept that I'm just a human and I'm doing the best I can. And even if things don't feel like they're going right this very moment, it is getting me somewhere. I am not just doing auditions for no's for nothing. I'm learning every time I get a script in my hand and I go into an audition, I'm learning something. And I think not rushing and just learning the craft of acting is what makes me feel unstoppable, because learning the craft will get me places eventually.
Well, it already
Yeah.
and you've had so many exciting things happen for you in such a short space of time. And that is not by accident. That is intentional. I've been talking a lot about intentionality recently on the podcast because you have to be intentional. And I just love that you are taking every single no from your auditions as a learning point, because it is. And I'm so excited for your career because I just know that you have an insane work ethic, which is what's needed. You throw yourself into everything. You're very open-minded. You want to learn. You want to get better. And you do get better. You do. Like, I saw such big improvements in you. And so I know that good things are going to happen and continue to happen. And I just want to let you know as well that you've really inspired me just now with this conversation. And that's what I love about our classes at Standby. Like, it's not just me passing knowledge on to you, it's a back and forth. You guys inspire
Yeah.
me all of the time. And I'm just so proud of you. And I can't wait for the next level of your career, whatever that is. And it's going to be exciting, whatever it is. Is there anything you would like to just leave our listeners with? Like, any last thoughts, either acting or non-acting related? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. First, I would like to say that I am preparing for a little part in a short movie where I'm going to play a very pregnant mom of two. And I have no intention so ever to have kids in my future, because I have my reasons, but I feel like the world is kind of uncertain. But anyways, so I am preparing for this role, and I'm gonna have like this fake pregnant belly on myself, and I could not have done that without the exercises, because playing a mom, I don't really know. Like, that's something I have no experience in, but using the exercises are helping to create experience. But also, do not rush. If you're having like a mental breakdown, have it, and just make sure to take care of yourself, and like, go into therapy is really good also if you want to become an actor, so you do not withdraw, or I think that's the right word, withdraw from experiences that could still harm you if you are drawing from those experiences. That is something I've learned. So I really recommend therapy, and like learning about psychologically as well, like how do you work, and that will help you also to work with your character if you know yourself first. Yes, that's all.
I love that. Such good advice. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and, you know, being vulnerable, and, you know, sharing things that might be quite personal. I think this has been, not I think, I know this has been such an inspiring conversation. I've absolutely loved it. I'm buzzing inside.
Thank you.
It's, well, what time did we start? 8:30 in the UK, 8:30 in the morning. And this has really set me up for the day. So thank you, Ayelen. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
Where can people follow you? So if they want to follow your acting journey, where would be the best place for them to come and follow you?
Yeah, oh my God. They can follow my Instagram It's Ayelen Nielsen. I'm not like very active right now because I'm having a social media break to see if that does something for my mental health and stuff like that. But I'm coming back and I have so much to update also on Instagram when I feel like I'm ready to come back. But that's a good start, anyways. I do have a TikTok. It's not so much related to acting, more like mental health and just existing. But yeah, Instagram for sure.
We will link both of those in the description and people can go
Yeah.
and follow you there. Thank you so much for giving up your morning to come and chat with me. I've absolutely loved it. And I really hope that you guys listening have loved it as much as I've loved it as well. And do definitely come and check out the Method Actor Circle and try it for £1. If after the month you think, it's not for me, that's fine. It's okay. And if after the month you're like, gosh, I love this, I need more, that's also fine. You can continue. Thank you so much, Ayelen. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Louise. I always love speaking to you. So I did not give up my time. I was so excited to see you and talk to you. So thank you.
I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors Handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.